Okay, I am Dennis Kinghorn, and I'm here today to interview Sam Grant.
Lovely to be here. Thank you, Dennis.
Right, today we're here to I'm here to interview you about your card making.
Yes,
So how did you get into such a hobby?
honestly, it just came to a point after college where after I left college, and I didn't really have much to do. After college, I tried to look for a job somewhere, uh, trying to involve some of the work that I can do, or even stuff that can help boost me in my work, like working in like retail shops or something like that. But nothing ever came up. But it wasn't until that of a sudden urge of it came across where my brother actually asked me to make a card for his girlfriend, and I didn't really know what to do for it, so I had to ask my brother for what she liked, and from what I could tell, she liked pugs, birthday cake, of course, and fish and chips. So I just felt like if I wanted to make a car like that, I had to use those three initiative ideas straight away and just put them onto a card. It took a while to try and get the right look of it at first because it's my first time really making a card for someone I don't even know, of course. But I took that initiative and I think the card that I made for her was actually pretty good. I mean, they're still in a relationship so far, so it's probably worked for somewhere.
Yeah. So I guess so. With this interview, I'll try to include the images. So you want to talk through the first card?
The first, yeah, well, start with the first card is the card that I made for my brother's girlfriend. Like I said before, I've tried to design. I've never really drawn a dog before as well, because so this was like another big step for me for not only for artwork and all that. I never actually drew dogs because I felt as though they looked a bit weird. I mean, have you seen the way they sit? It's
Yeah,
just really,
I have three dogs myself, so I'm not quite sure how it'll be displayed on the Splinter Zine itself, but we'll say this is image A, so you can find that somehow. This is the first edition of the Splinter Zine, so we're still planning stuff like that. So yeah,
the way I made it was actually I didn't want to make just a normal card just out of some scrap paper. For this, if I wanted this one to look really good, I had to make it look like a proper card, like something that you could buy from a shop. So the first initiative I did was actually found a shop who sold art supplies, and one of them was actual like card envelopes and cards for like card making. And it was tricky at first because when I was trying to glue it all together, the coloured card on top of the normal card, it just didn't work right. Where the paper would just like not open correctly, and it would almost like almost tear trying to open the card, and it just didn't look right. So I had to start over. But it wasn't until I found a correct method in order to make cards. That's when I felt like, yeah, this is the way to do it. Um, and after I managed the way to do that, I wanted to cut out lettering spelling out "Happy Birthday," and this was like my first time with it as well. So it looked a bit, well, in the artist profession, a bit sloppy, where you could still like see some of the pencil marks or maybe some glue got stuck on the side by accident, but it looks alright the way it does.
so
And as for the primary image, which was what my brother requested for in the first place, I had to initially design the sketches first before popping them onto the card itself because I didn't want to just wing it. I wanted to make sure that this looked like a dog, not an ugly dog. But the final result, I would say, is probably the most dog-like looking thing I've ever drawn in my life. And it won't be the first time from later on.
so how was it received?
very, very well, and I even got paid for it.
Oh wow.
I was probably because I wasn't expecting any money out of it. I just wanted to make a card, but I got money out of it, so that was more than enough for me.
And it was a. Did you get the money from your brother? Or?
Yes, my brother.
It would have been weird to get money from the birthday
Yeah,
person.
yeah, because they'll be getting money anyway, won't they?
Yeah, it's like it's like weird birthday where you give me money instead.
Yes, of course.
So you made. I take it you made more.
Oh
After
yes, of course. There was one card. The second card that I made was actually for a religious couple. I think it was from people. Ramadan, is that the one?
All right, so that'd be Islam, won't it?
Islam, yeah, is Islamic faith, yeah.
Um,
And they just had a. It was one of my mum's clients for hairdressing. I won't mention the name because privacy and all. And also I forgot.
Also, this will be image B if you want to have a look at it. So
Yeah. This one was actually for a baby's christening that they had. And I wasn't really sure what to go with this one either, but I wanted to go for something simplistic because it was for a baby. It was like a baby christening. Usually baby cards are actually like simplistic. And one of the best images that I had in my head at the time was of a simple circle shape. But in that circle would be an elephant, like sort of cuddling a baby. Basically, something quite cute, something nice, something that looked like a simple shape to go with, like baby cards. And I even included a butterfly on the side that actually has like the I forget what the symbol's called, but it's like the religious symbol of Islamic faith, at least of one of them. I had to make sure first, like, if that's a symbol that I had to go with, because I didn't want to like choose the wrong symbol. Otherwise, it would just look like a off-looking card. And I also included the name of the baby on the side. Thing is, though, like when I heard the name at first, I didn't really know how it was spelt. So the reason why the right side looks a bit bolder than the other side is because I actually was trying to cover up a letter that I wrote, but I made it look nice, so it works. Yeah, and that once again, well received, and I got paid as well.
I get it.
I never asked to get paid by anyone, but the fact that I got paid anyway shows, the amount of effort that I put into the work.
That's cool. That's cool. It must be very encouraging, also, to get paid.
Yeah, it's just a side thing. I mean, I just want to do art,
So what's the
The next card?
Yeah.
This one. Oh, this one was for another one. Most of these clients that I do for are actually my mother's clients for hairdressing appointments and that.
So this is image C.
Yeah, image C. This is like a draft of what the image is because the person that my mum wanted me to do the card for had like a Latino boyfriend. I believe it was Latino or Spanish. Spanish Latino?
So Latino refers to Latin America, so that's like, your South American countries like Argentina, Chile. It might refer to Mexico, like anything like Mexico and south of it.
I'm not really sure myself. I've forgotten for a while, but it's like a very bright, sunny place, and he has like an accent on him. I think he was Spanish, but don't take me on that.
Yeah, the Latin America refers to like Mexico and below. It doesn't usually refer to Spain, but
I actually had to take an image for it as well. This is like and it was for a Valentine's Day, but I wanted to make it look nice, still the same, but like put it on a little spin on it. So the clever thing, I think the cleverest thing I've ever done on this card, this will be like the image that'll be put me. Is actually I put like sunbeds on this beach image that I found, just to try and copy of something because I'm not really good with like landscape images and that.
Oh, so like a reference image.
Reference image, yeah. And I wanted to do something quite quirky with it because it's like experimentation sort of thing. And one that I thought was like really good was that I basically stuck on the back of these sun chairs, like you see on holidays and that. I put on like these towels, one with each having like the couple's first letter of their name, just so like a him and her sort of thing, you know. But what I did was I glued it at the top bit and flared it a little bit at the bottom to like make it look curved. So that way it would look like the towels are like flowing in the breeze.
Okay. Oh, cool.
I felt a bit bad about like the ocean image though. I was running out on like supplies at the time, so it looked a bit off. But I tried to cover up with glitter at the time, and it's enough. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed by it, but when I gave it a couple, they were like overjoyed.
Oh,
so I guess it didn't really matter what I felt like. As long as the people are satisfied with it, that's more than enough.
Oh, that's good. Did they pay you?
Yes.
The swing keeps that. You think your mother's just be like, you have to pay him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's never like. And the thing is, it usually fluctuated a bit. I think my asking price was probably fair at the time, at least from like. I actually did a bit of research as well as like how much I would get for like making cards or like how much cards are worth at the minute. And I saw like around 10 quid.
For a custom card?
For normal cards.
Oh.
Usually about 15, I would say, for like custom cards. So it would fluctuate in between. It depends on like how much work that you put into it.
Oh, yeah.
And usually my asking price was at least 10. And I would usually, for most of the cards I actually made, I actually got more than £10. So that shows even more how much of a good work ethic that I've actually made for it.
So,
next one?
Yeah, let's so go on. We're moving on to image D.
This one was for a christening. And once again, I had to go through perspective that this was going to be a baby's card, and even the recipients who were asking for one were asking for just a simple one. And I think, this one was actually for my brother's friend who was having a christening, basically. And I tried to make it. Like, once again, like the baby card, I'm trying to make it look simple and cute. I wanted to go a bit like quirky with it though, because I wanted to include like a pram with like segmented wheels with like spokes in them. But it was too complicated at the time, and I couldn't really figure out how to actually do it properly. So instead, I did like segments of a wheel taken off to make it look like it had like spokes in them, but also it looks kind of like a nice pattern that would go against the prams, so it's not like big chunky wheels on a pram, because that would look a bit weird.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of uses of pinks and purples. Was it a baby girl or?
I believe so, but I don't think that should really matter if it's a christening.
Of course.
I think it was a girl at the end though.
Oh yeah, because I mean, if you use that color scheme, I guess a lot of people's first thoughts is it's for a girl.
Yeah, but like in most baby cards, like they go all over the place with colors. So I was just using from what I researched about for christening cards, for boy and girl.
It's like the washing machine's going on, and it's like it almost feels like one of those sort of nostalgia chairs.
If we need to do this again,
Don't worry. You can notice the same. You can notice a similar effect with the with the audiobook that I did with Jordan. But that's getting off topic. So, are you sure? Is this
The next one? Yeah,
yeah?
next one.
Image B.
Once again, this was for one of my brother's friends, and this was for my brother's friend's girlfriend. And, yeah, she's still with him. So that shows how much what my cards are doing for people.
Like keeping relationships together.
Exactly.
The glue that I use, it's the glue of their relationship.
Exactly. And once again, I had to go through a very conundrum of drawing again, which again is dogs. Because what if I've drawn one dog, I could probably draw another dog, maybe even two. I had to draw two. So the only reference images that are really the only details that I got about the card that my brother's friend wanted done was that the girlfriend had two dogs. I forget the breeds of them, but I still have the photos of them on my phone somewhere. But basically, it's like she wanted the two dogs that she had on the card, and you know, once again, like dogs are weird to draw. It's like especially with like the legs at the back. So it's like if the legs just look weird, it's like just blame it on the dogs. But yeah, this one I started to move towards using coloured pens instead of like you just making it out of card, because if I was making it out of card, it would just take too much time. And I think the finished results of the two dogs are actually really good, especially for my second shot at drawing dogs. It's really good.
I really like how the one on the right really captures sort of that energy that dogs have.
Well, this is like the best part of it, because the initial idea I had for it, and this will be on the next image, was that the dogs would be on a bouncy castle.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and this was like probably the most favorite card that I made out of it, because there's a lot of stuff that I used on there that I never really done before, nor have done for ages, especially with the dogs, because what I did was I basically made the bouncy castle last before the dogs, because the dogs need more detail, but I stuck on the bouncy castle first, so that way I could like measure like where the middle of where it would be, because it's going to fill up the entire page, and I didn't want to like make it oversized so it like get all crumpled in the card packaging and that. So I managed that. I even drew some like detail, like some rims around the side and all that, to show that like there's like folds in the fabric of the bouncy castle. But then it came to putting the dogs on the card, and I didn't want to just put them straight away on the cards looking like they are bouncing. I wanted to make it look like they were actually bouncing on the bouncy castle. So the ingenious idea I had was actually from a memory from first school, where I remember when I was doing arts or just fiddling on by myself. We did this art trick where we took two long strips of paper, placed them each other on like the corners, but the strips are facing the opposite way, and then we folded them in each other until eventually, when we run up to the very edge of each paper, it would look like a big boxy accordion.
All right.
Or like a spring. So the idea I had for that was to actually stick those little accordion spring paper things underneath the dogs, so it looked like they're like bouncing on the bouncy castle, and you can even like flick them a little bit to show like some movement, and I think that pushes them even further.
Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the image right now, and you can see like the shadows, and I just assumed. I guess I kind of assumed that they were You're drawing on the shadows, but
Oh
no,
no! I don't want to draw it on. It's like a perspective thing.
yeah, but it's their actual real shadows
Yeah.
because they're in front of the.
Yeah, but in front of a bouncy castle. They're bouncing on the bouncy castle.
Oh, cool! That is.
Yeah. I don't have the image with me at the minute, but I did do one. I did do some adjustments where I added some movement lines around the dogs to show that they were like bouncing all over the place, and I included like "Happy Birthday" along the tube ends of like the bouncy castle. And once again, like, it was amazing. The reaction. She was in tears apparently, like happy tears.
Oh, cool! Yeah, another really well received card. So
Yeah.
I guess we're moving on to card F now.
Yes. This one was for another one of my brother's mates. I think that most of my customers are like from my family's relations,
Yeah, it makes.
or at least customers. Yeah.
I guess clients. I guess it makes sense because yeah, it's. I think it's very confident if you get one of these cards to know that you know who it's from and all.
Yeah. And this one, they actually specifically wanted me to do it in a specific art style, like like another card. I couldn't save the image anyway. I can't remember what it was, but I've got it somewhere. But basically, they wanted it to look like a particular card. So I asked them what card it was. I looked up what the card was, and I tried my best to at least copy the art style. I mean, it's very simplistic, but at the same time, if it's what the customer wants, then I'll try my best to fulfill that request. Some initial sketches that I made of like what the card would look like. At least I didn't have to use colored card paper because everything's in, well, simple, black and white. And after I filled it out with color, well, no, after I filled it out with pencil for that simplistic feel again, I wanted to add color, just for like a bit of spark in it. So I added some glitter to some of the surfaces of the images, like balloons, for instance, or even on the cake to show like a bit of there, or even on a little tent above. And obviously, then the final one is where I actually add some hints of red for like love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even cut out some little hearts. I think I did. No, I drew the heart. Yeah, I drew out some hearts to go across the married couple's faces and that. Even some initial designs on the cake and along the presents where there was anything blank. Yeah, and yeah, but more than happy with the card's results. The next one.
Card G. So this is
This one was a quick one actually. I had to make because this was when before I was moving. Not moving. This is when I was going on holiday, moving to holiday, Suffolk. You know what I mean. So I only had like a week to make this, but it was for like a couple that we actually met in Florida. It was like around the time that one of the hurricanes hit. And we were stuck at a hotel, but we managed to become great friends with one of the people who worked over there, and kind of stuck to each other. Like he's American, but canny.
that's a weird way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, considering what America is like, especially Florida. No offense to Florida, but there is a meme.
Yeah, Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man bites alligator because it bit him or something like that, and then they get married. But yeah, this was one I had to make within a week, and like I once again try to go for like a simplistic looking one as best as I could. So the initial idea that I took was Easter eggs, chickens. So I made like a chicken one with like simple cut out pieces of paper Well, I did include some like glitter here and there just to show a bit of brightness in there. I even drew on the faces of the chickens with pen, and I mean, like I feel as though like the Easter thing could have been done a bit better with like the line art, but I've once again got a good reaction out of it.
Oh, that's cool. If I have to say so, if I do say so, I think the card is very excellent.
I see what you did there.
I was waiting the whole time that since you showed the card to tell that joke.
You just couldn't wait, could you?
Uh, I was patient. I was waiting my time. Oh,
So the next one,
card H.
card H, was for my. It was Father's Day, and most dads, I think anyone can agree, they can be really hard to satisfy with presents and that. So I was actually having a talk with my mum about it, or even my brother, saying what I could do for him. And the best thing I could think of was to make him a card. But what to put on the card, I didn't want to do fishing because, well, that's for later on. I think. No, yeah, I did do that, yeah. Yeah, for Father's Day, it turns out that my mum was actually buying him a drink that he liked called Bombay Sapphire, which is like gin. But it comes in like a blue bottle and everything. I wanted, and like that's a simple enough one right there, and I thought that was perfect to do for my dad.
All right. Did he get the present? Did he see the present first or the card?
We gave them both at the same time, so I would say probably the bottle first because it's not covered.
Well, fair enough. It'd be funny. It's just like, oh, that's a very interesting image of a drink. I wonder what my present is.
Yeah, but this one was a bit different as well because this one I wanted to, since it was for my dad, I wanted to do something quite special for him. So I decided to actually dip my toes into watercolor. And I haven't really done watercolor that much, but have been looking on this guy who's been, forget his name, but he's been doing Thomas Romain. Yeah, Thomas Romain, and he was doing actual watercolor pictures of his kids' sketches that he did as a kid. And I've been looking through like how he used the brushes and all that, and I took inspiration from that, and I really wanted to do it. So this was the best opportunity for me. And yeah, my dad loved it. It was a finished result. But Father's Day, it was also my parents' 30th anniversary as well. So I had to make another card straight after I did my dad one. And I think it went well. I think I could have done at least like the shine of the bottle a little bit better to make it look a bit more three-dimensional instead of like a block. But my dad was happy enough with it, so I'll take that as a win.
I like the use of the colours because one of the and I've tried watercolors before. I know one of the sort of skills that you want to get good at is being able to mix the colours and get it right. And it looks.
I think the trick is just wet your paper first. Yeah. Also use heat press paper. Not like it's not like some ones where it's like all bumpy and lumpy. But if you want to do like watercolor, but for like normal images and that, I would definitely go with heat press.
Yeah, I know there's like, you mentioned about wetting the paper first because you get wet on wet and dry on wet or something like that. I forget what the terminology.
No, I think that's chicken.
I think that's something to do with watercolors.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. After I did that one, I had to go straight on to making my parents' 30th anniversary card. And this one, I had a really, really strong design for this one.
So is this card I've been mixing up the terms card and image throughout this interview. It's card.
Well, it's like a piece of art, really. The way that some of these are looking, really, isn't it?
Card art, that's it.
So I can understand why you're using the word image. But this one, I had a really strong concept because it was my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, otherwise known as their pearl anniversary.
Oh.
So for this first one, I actually bought some pearls to stick around the side, but once again, I wanted to make it look nice, so I used watercolor yet again. But I went really deep into this one. I had to use some pen here and there just to, help with like the line work and that. And I basically did 2 old trees that were intertwined with each other. Saying like no matter what goes on in the world, that they've always stuck to each other, and I have for 30 years apparently.
Okay.
And I even made one of the trees a little older because my dad's, he's older than my mother, of course, and my mum was over the moon with it. She was so happy with it, and that was more than enough for me, and that's I think that's how I carried on,
It's very good. Were the pills expensive?
Like about $2.50 or something like that. I got from like Hobbycraft, I think.
Yeah. And once again, very nice use of colours.
Oh yeah, since it was a pearl one, I had to go with for the base card. I just went with pink with pearl because they kind of matched together. But I think
there goes my phone.
Give it a sec.
Just continue talking about the card.
So, as I was saying before, for the base of the card, I wanted to go for a background image. So, what basically I did first was I made the background of the image first, but then I painted on top of it for the trees, which is why I used pen, because after I painted it on, it just didn't look quite right with all the colours mashed up together. So that was the last thing I had to do when I finished it all. After that, I included highlights with white to do all the leaves and all. I actually learned again from watching watercolor tutorials on how to do leaves and all that. That was a really mind-boggling thing for me to try and do leaves. But I learned, and at the finished result, it looks amazing, especially with the highlights on the leaves and the trees and that. You're back?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Are you going to include this in the interview?
Well, if you will continue to speak. I don't know how much of whatever it was I was involved with.
Yeah, we were just explaining about the how I did the trees in the background and that.
Okay.
So you can have that, Nathan.
So on card J.
Card J. This was another one where I think I was going on holiday again.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one was for someone's birthday, for a little kid, but at the same time, we were actually playing Annie in Annie,
mm-hmm.
which is a well-known theatre play and movie about a little ginger orphan who gets adopted by a rich person, and hijinks ensue, I think. I never really saw the movie myself, but I understood what the character was, so I could do the character. Through initial sketches, once again, trying to draw a dog. Dogs are weird to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they sit down, just weird. But I took my initiative, I buckled down, and when I finished it, it looked really well done. I even copied off the text of a font style of Annie to do for Happy Birthday and the lass's name Ella.
Mm-hmm.
I even did like an image of Annie herself and a dog friend. I forget the name. Making the character was actually a bit different because like this time instead of like doing like pens and that, I just for time's sake again it fluctuates on time, but like I felt as though that the right way to do it for like my sake was to just cut out shapes out of card and place them in a way that made it look like a character. So I did that for Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Very fiddly, but it results show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once again, person very happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
After I came back from holiday, I had another one I had to do, and this one I worked on for a couple of nights.
So this will be card K. If you
Card K.
if you want to follow along.
I didn't know we were counting.
I'm trying. I hope I don't listen to this back and realize I've like.
I'm sure you can correct yourself in post. Whereas you can put in like description and that. This one was for a graduation. This another good card that I made around that time. Initially, I had to make sketches of like what I was supposed to do with it. Like how would I draw? How would I put on the hat card? The hat itself. How would I try and make it look? I was going in between it a little bit. So at the end result, I made the base like a dark blue card, but it seemed a bit plain, so I decided to add like a nice grey border around it to make it look like a framed picture of graduation sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this one took me a while to try and figure out how to do it right, because at first I was happy enough with like the colours in the middle, but it was the hat that I was having a bit of trouble with, because at first, like, there's usually like a little tassel at the top bit of the hat, but I wasn't really sure how to actually place that on the card base itself, and I went through like several different cut-out pieces of card to try and figure it out, but I wasn't really satisfied with any of them. So at the end of it, I decided to use a silver pen to get the kind of shape that I wanted to go for the hat. I even left out like a bit of pencil mark of where I was happy where the hat was and where I would want the tassel to go, as you can see in this image. And I even included a bit of silver accent around the hat to show that it was like square.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, I even decided to include a little roll-up piece of paper with a ribbon tied around it, which is like a scholarship sort of thing that people are given at graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also another thing as well. It was quite bothersome for me to try and figure out how to put on congratulations. That's like the biggest problem I always have with like making these cards, is figuring out the spacing for the lettering to go in. And I always try to do it in pencil first, before digging in and finalizing on how to actually make it fit in. And it's like you have to like count how many letters are in. You gotta like think of like the kerning of like how big the letters are going to be in the size of the card. It can be quite stressful, especially if you're on a time, especially on like a time limit, which most of these cards I was on, but I tried to do the writing first hand before doing any card.
Mm-hmm. I guess the one thing you probably would have discovered very quickly is just how many letters are in congratulations.
Oh, I've counted, my friend. I've counted, and I don't want to count them again.
How does one word have so many letters? Who designed this word this way?
No, especially if you're doing it in a curved accent as well, just to give it some style. And I thought, yeah, it would make it look like a bit of like a smile. So the image of that kind of worked out. I even did that in silver pennon as well.
Oh well.
Yeah, there's some like images that you can get of like.
And this next.
The next one. You're gonna love this one.
God, I recognize it.
Yeah, this one was actually made for your birthday.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, yeah. This was another one that was actually. I think I had at least 2 days to make this one. And since I know Dennis very well, and I've been around his house, and I've done some outrageous activities with him, I know that
what
like gaming and all that, doing events that you've scheduled yourself in a way.
Yes,
that's what I mean. Nothing too crazy.
Yes,
Listen with Dennis. Yeah. And I know that he's got his avatar. What he considers his avatar is a Pokemon named Zigzagoon with a bandana mask around his head.
Yeah,
is it a bandana or like a mask sort of thing?
Yeah, so the idea is my YouTube channel and I guess my default account name for most online things is Super Zigzagoon, which Zigzagoon is a Pokemon, and so yeah. I mean, if you just want after this, you can check out my YouTube channel, Super Zigzagoon, where I
promotion.
Yeah, well, we'll try to we'll try to use the Splinter Zine to promote people's online accounts like this. But yeah.
Yeah, so for this card, for his birthday, it was around the time that the newest Pokemon game came out, which was Sword and Shield, and Sword and Shield is actually the region, or like the place that the game that it takes place in, the area, is based on the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but they also included like regional variants of older Pokemon, usually to try and give a love to older generation, but also improve upon some stuff that the old generations couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily enough, one of them that came over to the UK, or the Galar region, as they call it, was Zigzagoon.
Yeah, my boy.
Yeah, and where it turns into like a punk with its tongue flapping out. So, out of inspiration from it, I took the initiative and I made like a dark Super Zigzagoon or a Ultra Zigzagoon. I don't know what Dennis would call it at the end, but I know that he was dead chuffed to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And once again, this only took me at least about 2 days to try and come up. I was busy at the time as well with like family matters and stuff, because it was actually moving house soon.
And this is one of the few cards you didn't give me. Oh no! Oh yeah, I'm the odd one. I'm the villain.
No, don't worry, man. I did it out of love.
I know. I'm just just joking, but I do love it. I do. It is very very nice to have the see like Zigzagoon related card, because I guess my family isn't too aware of so I guess most of them don't know what Pokemon's like or anything like that.
I never do. But yeah, this one there was like two things I'm quite happy about when making this card as well, where the bandana like mask tassels along the back, I did like a very swooping type of movement on them, showing like this dark Zigzagoon or whatever Dennis would like to call it. It's up to him. is like has rushed from, or like he's jumped from a great height and he's done like a superhero landing or something. I also will like what I've done with the eyes and the nose. We've added some highlights to it, showing like there's a bit of shine to it. Yeah, I think it was a really good, and of course Dennis was happy enough with it, so I was happy enough with the result. Yeah. I would say that the writing at the bottom could have been done a bit better, but that's my personal opinion, and the pen didn't work well with the card, but I got a happy customer, so I don't mind.
Yeah, I was very happy with it.
And the last one that I made for at least 2019 was a Christmas card.
Okay, okay, so I've lost count. I think we're either at like K or L.
Yeah, I think we're at K. No, yeah, K L 1M now. I think. Well, definitely indeed, because this one's Christmas themed. This one, I forget who I actually made this for. I think it was for one of my family relatives. I'm not quite sure. It was quite a while ago, but tried to do what I could. Try to make it look as best as I could. This one though took like a lot of trial and error at the start, because I wasn't really sure what to go for a Christmas card. You know, I could have done like a watercolor type design, but when my parents asked for it, it was like just before Christmas, so it's just like, I gotta do the full night on this. Well, it was on the 21st, so at least 5 days, but still though, it's like I made it at the end. I had to pull in some nights for it, but I made it. I just wish they gave me a better heads up for it. But yeah, like I said, a lot of trial and error trying to get the right kind of image for the card. Like I could have do like a Christmas tree or a snowman or Santa Claus. All sorts of things going through my head of like what to do. But the final design I went with was I thought, it was for Ella. Yeah, it was for Ella again, but for Christmas. The one I made the Annie card for. Yeah, so it was for her again, because actually now I'm seeing like the images of like the initial sketches. I actually wrote down on the piano Ella, sort of like an embroidery thing on a like a very authentic looking piano. So I think once again I had to go for like something like simplistic, but like quite nice. And I think I was happy with the end result at the end. As you can for like as you can see for like the final image, I included some holly and ivy around the corners of the side, including with some flaring on the leaf parts. I think that's called the ivy. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I did that a little bit to add some 3 dimension to it, which I think helps with it. And in the center image itself, I've done a piano with Ella's name on it, a nice big old present, a Christmas tree with like a mat on the bottom, so that way none of the stickle bushes stuff gets on the floor, so you have to hoover it up, sort of thing. That's what people do. And a nice little snow globe on the top with some nice curved handwriting of Happy Christmas in gold. And I had to write that. I had to like practice that to try and get that right. Also put like on the paper like thin lines with a ruler, so that way I could make sure that it was like a straight edge when I was writing it down. And once again, happy customer. And then we get into that year, which would be N. And this one was sort of like no one asked me to make this card. I actually made this card on my own volition. Where for years I've been going to this shop called AnimeZ or AnimeZ, I forget how the name's pronounced. Dennis would probably know what it is.
Is it all supposed to be like one word, or is it just like the last letter? It was anime Z or AnimeZ.
Well, the moves basically. Yeah, I think it's AnimeZ how it's pronounced. I forget. But anyway, it was this shop that I actually found when I was a teenager, growing up, and I actually found it by chance. And I still remember when I was a kid, where I was like, well, I was teen really, where I was actually worried about going in. Like I was afraid because this is like a themed type shop, And it's like if once I go in, it's sort of like that's gonna be my identity for the rest of my life, sort of thing. And I didn't know what to expect, because like I knew how some of the stuff went sometimes, and some of it can be a bit weird. So it's just like I had no idea what to expect, but I got in. Um, the owner seemed nice, and after years, we managed to make a pretty good relationship out of it. And I'm
Yeah,
sure that he had others, but like for me, it was something that helped me grow up a bit.
yeah. I mean, I encountered the shop many times to the like local anime conventions.
Yeah,
It's a
and he's nice. The person that owns it, he's just so nice.
Yeah, I've had good experience with
Yeah,
that shop as
he
well.
even saved me from buying a fake.
Oof.
I know, and like at home. And when I actually heard that in 2020, this was before everything went downhill. Actually, no, I think it was around where I heard it went. It was gonna go downhill, so I had to. I felt as though I had to do whatever I could to whatever I could do first, straight away before everything goes closed down and everything. And I wanted to make him like a farewell card, just to show that how I appreciated the work that he did,
Hmm.
and like the conversations we had. This is like something that I needed to do.
Hmm.
So, and this was like a big task as well, because this was like an anime shop, and I never really drew anime characters. I just drew my own sort of style of characters in a way. But to copy off like one of some of the most well-known art styles and characters in anime media or animation media, it was such a task for me. I was it was a struggle for me at first trying to copy the style, but especially with like characters like with like more intricate art styles and like bolder outlines and that, such as Goku or Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh. The art styles differ so much, and yet they're both like complicated. It took me mostly with Goku because I could not draw pecs
Hmm.
or anime noses and faces. I just couldn't. I couldn't draw that sort of stuff. So I had to like redraw the characters over and over again just to make sure that I actually got these characters right. Eventually, I did, which is on this second image, and I think he was happy with it. The only problem is though that I did get the date wrong because I wasn't actually sure when he actually started, whether it was in 2008 or 2009. I got the dates mixed up a lot. But he was happy enough with it. He was happy enough with it. Um, and it's basically an image of his character in the middle. Like it's like his mascot for a shop with like a little suitcase on with like some stickers on saying like Japan, UK, and I think I did like a orange slice thing, which is like a Japanese thing.
Hmm.
Do you know what
Is it
different?
like one of those like hand fans that have a?
I don't know. I just looked on like Japanese imagery on like luggage, And I remember seeing like this orange slice in a bunch of them, and I just thought it would just add to the add on authenticity.
Yeah.
So, and then in the characters from left to right, I included uh, some of anime and Japan's like most well-known anime characters, such as from left to right, Pikachu from Pokemon, Goku from Dragon Ball Z,
Mm-hmm.
Hatsune Miku from well, Hatsune Miku. She
Yeah,
was
a Vocaloid, so it's like she's like a virtual singer, isn't she?
yeah, like the gorillas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Totoro. Is that
Yeah, that's right. From the movie, from the Studio
yeah?
Ghibli movie, My Neighbor
Yeah,
Totoro.
from Ghibli movie My Neighbor Totoro.
Mm-hmm.
Yugimoto from the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece.
Yeah.
I I think out of like the characters, the hardest one, all of them were really hard to do because all of these. Well, Pikachu was kind of okay, but mostly all of the characters I had to draw were so complicated because each one had a different art style, and I wanted to try and capture that art style on paper. But it took me so many times just to try and fill out little details as much as I could with the pen, or trying to make sure that I get the art style right enough so that they actually look like the characters that I'm basing them on. Especially with Goku, because I honestly, the way that the pics are drawn and all that, and I don't draw human characters, I just draw characters. So not only did I have to draw like 6 different art styles of 6 different well-known characters, hands, which is every artist's nightmare, pecs and noses, and intricate detail for each of the characters, including like ruffles in the fabric of their clothing, the hairlines, the little bits on their clothes. It was quite a struggle for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially with trying to get the right color on them as well, because some of them don't look quite pink because I didn't have pink like skin tone watercolor at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I did them on the, as you can see as well. I did them on the London Eye. Is that the not London Eye? But this is like, what's this bridge called?
Is it the Millennium Bridge in Newcastle?
Yeah, I did them on the Millennium Bridge, sort of like like a rising sun sort of thing. I think that's what I was trying to go for. Where it's just like a well-known image of Newcastle,
Mm-hmm.
but you won't see very much because you'll be moving over to London. That's why I was singing London. But yeah, I did them across the Millennium Bridge, and it's a nice sort of sunrise sort of thing with like 6 of the most well-known anime characters in Japan, and yeah, he was his character as well took a bit of a while to try and get a grasp of because I don't think he was comfortable with other people making like images of his character. But I wanted to try and be like a fit, like nice enough with his character, but also try and do it in my sort of style to try and I don't know. I wasn't really sure where to go, but like I wanted to make it look like how I would draw it, or how I would want to draw it. Like even though that he wasn't accepting of it.
I like. Personally, I like how I like how the character turned out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah. Because I don't draw like characters very often, and like I have my own art style that I had when I was in college, and I felt like weird. I wanted to draw it in my sort of way, Like it's not a particular art style finalized for the character, but I wanted to do at least a little gift of him of me drawing fan art of his character, sort of thing, and I thought that was nice enough.
Yeah, I didn't. I guess that makes sense. It would be like an original character because I haven't seen the you know, like the character with you know, going to anime conventions and seeing, and also a few times actually visiting the shop itself.
He even had a figure made as well.
Oh wow,
Yeah, yeah, it looked amazing.
yeah, very good tribute to an anime shop. Which will, I guess we'll hopefully see it the next SunnyCon.
Probably if it's still going on. Once again, another one of my mum's clients. Like I'm saying, a lot of my mum's clients have ordered look for cards, and this one was for one of my mum's clients' dad's, who was his birthday.
So which card one is it? Is it called O?
Oh,
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 ooh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, you could probably put like a blank screen or something for like the COVID stuff because like that. I don't think you could put like any images with that.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, this one I went back to what I was best with, watercolor, yet again,
Mhm.
and I actually had like an initial image to take inspiration from, where just my mum sent me this image on WhatsApp,
Mhm.
and said do that, and a bit complicated. A bit complicated. Once again, drawing dogs. Dogs are weird. Don't blame me.
Mhm.
Um, and once again, yeah, I'm not really good with like making human characters. It's more like human detail characters, just sort of like my own style sort of thing. So a lot of sketches had to be done in order to get a final design. I even did digital at one point where I segmented the page into like squares and tried to draw around those squares to get the right image. And I think the final image that I did was actually alright. I would say that my favourite part is what I've done with the dog's fur because it's like a quite a fine fur that I
Mhm.
had, like almost like camel.
Mhm.
I don't think I had the right colour for it, but I think I've got the right amount of detail on it to make it look like the dog in the photo.
Mhm.
Um, Customer was happy enough with it, so that was more than enough by me.
Mhm.
Um, and the last one I made in 2020 was for one of my mum's friends, who I think was called Kate. Yeah, quite a glitzy glamour sort of person.
So the unfortunately named card P, as we call it.
Uh,
Why did it have to involve liquid?
oh, wait, you see what it is at the end. This one, I wanted to make it look fancy because the person I'm making for was a bit fancy. Like she's got like a high like a ritzy looking bungalow with 2 floors. So it's not a bungalow. It's like a bungalow house.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a wide house that's only got 2 floors. Yeah. Um, So yeah, I wanted to do something quite nice for her, so I made like a very embroidery, almost like embroidered gold plated letter of K to go with the card. So it's because it's her name. Initial sketches. Initial sketches. It was quite easy for me, really. It's just making the K and then coming up with like little symbols to go around the K itself and doing like the design of like the bottle of like alcohol that you wanted. It was Tatinga. And yeah, Tatinga is like a brand of like champagne. Yeah, champagne. That was one. Yeah, talk about P. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That one took a bit of a while to do because like it's very fine details that Tatinga has on the bottles. But I wanted to make it look nice. So, as the end result, I managed to do like a nice gold-plated K with a bottle of Tatinga and a glass that's half full of Tatinga because not everyone has a full glass. I even did some nice little decorations around the corners of the paper to make it look just a bit more fancier,
Mhm.
with like some nice gold. And I put that all of that onto a nice little pink card because she's a girl.
Mhm.
I think one of the bits I quite liked doing on this was trying to go for the look of gold in watercolor, because I did watercolor on this yet again. Um, was trying to go for the look of gold on the K. We're trying to merge like browns and yellows and a bit of black and brown to like accent some of the stuff to make it look like it's like almost like an authentic piece of gold that's a letter K. So then after that, I just stopped making cards because I was moving house,
Mhm.
and no, I had not only did I move into a different house, I had to move into three different other houses, and it was stressful.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't have I just didn't have any time to make any more cards. It was just surviving, you know.
And
I think we actually got in to like the third house at the end of I think at the end of 2020. I think, or at least no, yeah, it was. Yeah, we managed to move into like the third house at
Mhm.
around the end of New Year's. Yeah,
Mhm.
we actually moved in on New Year's. Then after that, I actually managed to get my own place. Try to make things look sort of neat, make it my own kind of style. Um, I try to make like a work area, try to get things done, but then just with my family once again missing me, and like that's general stuff, and like I gotta keep like good mentality, especially with COVID and stuff going on. So all in all, I've been trying to get back into it,
Mhm.
and the most recent one I've actually done, which was last year in December. Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually made an illustration for a friend of mine. I mean, it's not a card, but it was using all the motifs and inspirations that I took from making cards to make a nice little design for him.
Mhm.
Um, During 2021, I wanted to do something with one of my friends, mostly because we hadn't seen each other for a long time, and he doesn't really go out that much. He rarely gets breaks. I think he only gets like 4 a month.
Mhm.
But I wanted to do something nice for him and something that he could get on. So so I found out about this drawing challenge called Smaugust, which it's like a type of drawing challenge where you have to do a drawing for each day of the month. And in August they call it Smaugust, which is based on the dragon Smaug from the Lord of the Rings series.
Mhm.
So the challenge throughout that month was to create a dragon. It could be any dragon. It could be a pillow dragon. It could be a dragonfly dragon, a frog dragon, a dragon made out of sticks. All the world's is anything goes, basically. Anything
Mhm.
goes. And I actually wanted to help him evolve some of his initial sketches because I knew that he actually made some dragons in the past, but he never really had much of a broad art style. It's like quite normal, simplistic looking.
Mhm.
But that's his art style. I was expecting him to improve throughout the years, but like I think being away from college and that, I mean, we're working all the time. I think that's taken like the time of him to practice his art skills.
Mhm.
So, as a friend, I wanted to help him. And the design that I made was actually on the first dragon that we made together, which was a fire dragon.
Mhm.
And this one was like a really good piece of work. I did put time in. I made initial sketches. I made like retouches to make sure like the flames were okay, or the volcanoes were okay, or like the way the posture of the dragon was. Because this was like I think it's called like a rim turtle. Like it's like a mixture of rim and turtle,
Mhm.
or tortoise, or rim toys. I forget what it is, but basically, it was supposed to be a volcano dragon. And the initial idea that came up with my head, make it like a giant dragon tortoise. Like go
Mhm.
out there, like make any kind of dragon that you want. You can make like even a cheese fountain dragon if you wanted to.
That sounds delicious.
Oh yeah, I made one. I actually made that as well. It's like a fondue one where the horns are like skewers with cheese on.
I don't know, because when I'm looking at it, it kind of reminds me of a Pokemon called Torkoal, which is a fire
Yeah,
turtle.
very good observation. Yes, but this one looks a bit more aggressive,
Yeah.
especially with like the flames and all that. Um, Yeah, I think for this one, the most complicated thing was just trying to get the shell look right, because I wanted to look like the shell was hard, but I
Mhm.
also wanted to look like almost like magma, like tough. You know, like how like dry magma normally looks as this like when it's like cooled off, it's like almost like craggy looking bubbly rocks, and I wanted that look for the shell. And I think with all the volcanoes, that's when it went a bit complicated, because there's that many volcanoes. There's like little space for the bumpy lumps of the dry magma shell to appear. But I think the end results was a success. Yeah, I think my favorite part that I did was probably trying to get like the arms correct with all the folds in the fat arms, and to show like this is like a really heavy turtle that can't be moved,
Mhm.
especially with like the flame accents around like his like the shape of his mouth and that. With like they look like sharp fangs, like this thing eats like diamonds for breakfast or something
Mhm.
like that. Even with like little flame looking accents, looking eyebrows as well. I thought that was a good thing to do. The tail, that's my friend's idea. That was all his idea, because he had at least four dragons that were supposed to be brothers, and all had the same tail sort of design. So I wanted to keep that in initial design from his work, because we're working together. And I wanted to include him. We never actually managed to finish all of them because, well, he was off doing his job, earning money, and like can't really stop him doing that. But yeah, and near Christmas, I just wanted to give him something nice. So I basically took a piece of watercolor paper, did all that. I even found a nice picture frame over at like a pound shop and framed it and gave it to him for Christmas. And he said it didn't look like what he wanted, but he was happy.
Mhm.
I think his initial reaction was, "Oh,
Oh.
that's how he talks."
Oh, well, so yeah, and so as
So nowadays, there's not much card making going at the minute, but I am planning to try and make something for my dad, which will be coming in soon. Actually, no, yeah. So it's this week. That's my dad's birthday, so I'm gonna make him a card for his birthday.
that's cool, and it'll be
And the initial idea that I've got, sorry about that, but the initial idea I have for that as well is to like do some of his favorite drinks that he likes to drink, like maybe brown ale or Bombay uh, gin again. Bombay Sapphire, yeah,
oh,
Bombay Sapphire. Um,
oh yeah, that previous card would have been card Q, I believe.
yeah,
Hopefully the timestamps should be
well, it's not
confusing.
really a card. It's more of like a image, but it's taking inspiration from the card.
So yeah, this maybe we might include this the I guess the finished card if it because I reckon by the time this interview's done, not by the time this will be on the Splinter Zine, it'll already be he's well off. So yeah, we'll try to include it. Let's say this interview. I reckon this the edition of the Splinter Zine will come on April, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I thank you very much for the interview, Dennis.
Thank you for so much talking. Quite, you did a great job talking. Quite, a lot of detail about a lot of different cards that you've worked on.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten how many cards I actually made.
Yeah, hopefully this interview comes out well. Yeah, so
Hey, hopefully I'll get up until the full alphabet as well, won't I?
yeah, thanks. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the interview with our card maker, Sam Grant.
Thank you.